So it is Christmas Eve, and I'll update you on some life things on my live stream. Definitely a scare with some family, but all's good. It was too long, didn't read, but I digress. So I don't know, I'm refilming part of this, so I might use this intro into something, I may not, I don't know yet. But long story short, a friend of my dad's asked if we can get him a computer. He's running an Optiplex Pentium 4 hybrid threading with probably a quarter or half a gig of RAM. ID drive, it's 40 gigs. So we don't need anything fancy if he's running on that. So I went out and bought, a colleague of mine was selling a board. It turns out it's really finicky with the front panel connector. If you're not using the stock one, which is not proprietary, but it's a single plug, it doesn't want to boot every time. So you might see the build log of that, you may not. Again, I'll have to go back and check the footage. But today, hopefully, everything's already in here. There's actually a test system in here that doesn't actually post video, but it does turn power on. So we want to do that. So we're going to tear that apart. We're going to put this in. We should be able to get up here in 15-20 minutes. So this is costing us $135. Pay $30 for the board. 30 for the 8 gigs of RAM. CPU I've had, so let's just say if you had to buy the CPU, it'd be 30 bucks. So 30, 30, 30, 90. Case was 20. Power supply was 30, so that's 140. And the SSD was 20. So we'll say 160. $160 could be your basic office rig. I think what we're going to do is he has Windows 7 on his OEM machine, so we're going to decommission that, put the license over to here, and we're going to upgrade to 10. So we're not going to show you that, but that's just what we're going to end up doing, just so you guys know. We try to stay on the up and up here. So let's come along for the ride. Let's get this $160 Office PC built. So first thing we want to do is just get everything unplugged. I think I actually have a straight SATA cable over there. There we go. We're going to leave that in. We're going to go ahead and take out this bad boy here. That is just a video card. It's an R5-230, nothing fancy. Unplug CPU power. This is actually a 6th gen board with an i5 that I bought that doesn't work. It's a 6400T. It was from somebody else, not the guy that I kept buying or getting processors from. It didn't work. This one supposedly did work. So a little bit about the case here. So this is some Roswell case, FB01 or something. For an Office PC, it's good. So let me show you guys why. It has a front 120. We already measured this. This is a rear 180. It has 5¼ inch bays. That's hard drive bays. This is actually SSD mounting. Do I have 4 screws in there? I do. I don't know why, but I have 4 screws in there. And yeah, so it actually does support that. Really happy with it overall. And but anyway, so I digress. We're going to take this board out. So that's the only downside with working with a case like this is we're going to put these away while dropping the screwdriver on the carpet floor. So you carpet people that say that if anything touches carpet, just throw away the whole system. Yeah, you guys are going to be loving this system here. So I think I decided that I'm going to, here, I'll just be very careful with this so you guys can see. Yeah, I can do this. I'm probably just going to ignore the previous footage that I shot and call it a day. Just go with this stuff here. This is a test board. It's like a $40 board, so I would rather not break it. But I think I broke it once, I think. So it will not be a first. But I just want to really get everything on camera from a pretty good angle here. Okay, so we are down to 2 screws. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it this way. Hey, we have a random standoff fault. That's funny. just want to be as careful as possible with that, which is more careful than what I just was. Okay, random standoff. Fell from the top right corner. See, the one downside is these actually screw in all the way with your hands, so it's definitely possible to have these pop out when unscrewing. So, I mean, we're not using the most expensive case, so I mean that's to be expected. So next we want to go ahead and get this board set up here. So let's actually quickly inspect the board. This is a Dell-based board, which is fine. Has an I/O shield, which is honestly what we're looking for. Let's take a really quick look at the pins. Looks good. I don't see any ones that are angled wrong. Yeah, definitely is looking solid. So let's go ahead and put our CPU in here, and I'll see if I can get you guys in a little bit closer. So Intel, I feel like, takes a little bit more care than AMD. With AMD, you can just line up the pins and just let it drop in. Intel, you have to line it up and just be careful. Like, for example, if you drop it like that, you're going to damage some pins. Whereas if you drop on the socket of AM4, or even AM3 or 2 at that matter, you might bend some pins on the processor. And while that's not ideal, you know, it is not the end of the world. So what's interesting though is this actually has a back plate. So we're going to take a look. It's probably adheres to it. We are definitely going to have to remove this because this used an OEM Kohler. So let me take a look on how to do that first. It was either tape or adhesive. It was, I don't know, not really a big deal. When you go to sell something, if you're not going to sell it to Kohler, which is perfectly understandable, remove that stuff. A couple reasons. A, if I wasn't an experienced builder, I would have been like, what the hell? Right? Probably could have Googled it, but you would have wasted some time. Second reason, let's make sure all these are right. You might need that in the future. So, just food for thought. Well, food for my thoughts anyway. And hopefully this goes down. Yes. So this is standard mounting, which is good. I kind of figured, because this is a standard backplate for some like aftermarket Kohlers I've seen, so it does not surprise me there. I'll go ahead and get her plugged in there. Let's go grab 8 gigabytes of RAM and get it installed. Now, it's actually interesting. This actually has a Wi-Fi card on it. I find that incredibly interesting. And one of the questions I had was the front panel connector, if that was standard or not. And he said it did look standard. We have HD audio, USB. This has to be the front panel, and that most likely is standard. So let me show you what I mean here. We have 4 and 4. It's common to have that, so it's probably going to be, you know, power LED, power switch, reset switch, hard drive LED most likely. I will consult the manual. One thing I didn't do was I probably should have slapped in a 2nd gen processor, but this is supposedly a 3rd gen board. So we're going to just hope that it works out of the gate. That'd be really nice if it did. So all you have to do is thumb on each side, just like that. Now I highly encourage, obviously, not to work on carpet if you can, especially if you're inexperienced, but having wood like this is perfect. Now, what I'm not going to do, and what you should do, is you should put this on a motherboard box, powered out, make sure it works. I'm skipping that. I don't have a lot of time, and if it doesn't work, then I'll revisit it later. But either way, let's go ahead and back up to normal level. We're going to go ahead and let our SATA cable drop. So this came from an Inspiron, interestingly enough. Again, 1155 boards are just hard to find, so considering this was 3rd gen, I was actually all over it. Now this I will lay down to install. Let's get you guys up and take a look at it. There you go. That way you guys could see to a degree. So I'm going to keep these out of the way. We just want everything to go in here. We don't want any cords in the way or anything if we can avoid it. So I do apologize, you guys didn't see me install it. What I had to do was I came down this way first, down towards the bottom of the case, laid it down without scraping, as little as I could, and that was it. So looking at it, I do have to take it back out because there's a standoff that's off center, so I'll just kind of very carefully without scraping, or scraping as little as possible. I should have looked at it, but it's a standoff right at the very bottom. It's not parallel with the back one. It's actually down a little bit. So what I mean by that is this standoff is lower than this standoff. They're not the same, whereas the last board they were the same. So you guys are actually seeing me put it back in. So just carefully, because it is rubbing up against a couple things. And then clear this one, clear that one, just very carefully. You want, there's going to be a little bit of scraping, but at the edges of the board, and just very, very light. Just, you can't bowl through a china shop it. Boards can take a little bit of a beating, just a little bit though. Like, I mean, I know Jay did that video, it was like, hey, you can do all this stuff, and he's kind of right, but especially some of these older boards, if they're used, I would just try to just use some caution and some common sense. So, this has, why is this not one to tighten all the way down? Oh, it does, okay. That was just a lot longer screw than I thought. So, we're probably just going to use onboard video. This is used for work. This is used for a repair order program or whatever that he uses. There's that. As my phone keeps going off. I used to stop recording. When I do some of my higher end stuff, I will. But for this little stuff, I mean, this is what's going on when I build stuff. So you guys need to see that. There's that. And then we're going to be simple here. We will weld this guy down to the bottom. And plug in to power the SSD. I wanted to put it that way, so I routed that way, ideally. Plug in our 24 pin. Nope, that goes this way. You have to look for the notch. And the notch is on the inside. It's actually right there. Wait, now you guys can see. Sort of, maybe? Yeah. Sort of see, so just bear with me. It is there, though. This is a Dell, like I said, 3rd gen board. It's like a B775 or something like that. The guy had choice. He had like an Asus 661 H61 board, and he had a 3rd gen board. And I'm like, well, just give me the Dell board. It's fine as long as you have IO Shield. You should be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and undo this. I just don't want this wrapped around there. We can hide this back here if needed. Not really overly concerned about those. So, how I believe this is set up, which is very similar to most cases. Always do the most difficult ones first. Okay. Hard drive LED. Reset. And then power separate. Okay, there's that. And where is that SATA cord that I had? Flying around here. There it is. Oh, this is a right angle one as well. I think I found one that's not a right angle one. You know, just for this purposes, I'm just going to use this one. So all we want is we want to keep as many wires away from this front fan as possible. Alright, so let's go ahead and get her booted up. Nothing goes flawless when you're working with computers, just remember that, guys. So, no videos so far. which is annoying. We had 5 beeps, which was when I removed the CMOS battery. So, so that's 5. So that's telling us, according to Dell, real-time clock failure. So the question is, why do we not have video? Let's find out. So what we do first is we pull a memory stick. See if that works. Although it should be giving us an error regardless, but regardless. Now let's see. Talk 1 power cycle there. There we go. Ooh, we do. Okay. So, let's go into the BIOS here. I'll leave you guys, someone beside me, we'll move this out of the way here. F2. So it didn't like the second RAM stick. Could have maybe not been seated all the way. Definitely could be a couple things. So, good enough. Okay, that was disabled. So this was turned on. That was annoying. Good. Excuse me. Okay, so it sees our SSD. Processor, good. Onboard video configuration. SATA controller's good. Okay, so. Now, we're see if we can get this thing to power down. This was annoying. The fact that it wasn't powering all the way off is annoying. That could just be a BIOS setting. Alright, let's try this, make sure this works. Okay, so that is either a button or a BIOS setting. Again, that's more of a diagnostic problem when we go to diagnose it, but okay, let's say for everything else, not the end of the world. It seems that the board wants to constantly try to reboot sometimes. Okay, flip this switch back. Flip the SATA connector. No, don't go there. Okay. Good. So, turns out we had RAM stick installed incorrectly. Not the first time it's happened. Whew. Okay, let's get our OS SSD. And get going here. Okay, it's up and running well. Still have to finish installing Windows. Don't have a product key right now. Blah, blah, blah. There actually might be a product key tied to it. If there is, so be it. My last break. Oh wow, this is on an angle. Okay. So we're done for now. Well, we are. My last break fix video, by the way, 12 hours of work so far. I think I have it narrowed down to the SSD. I thought we tested it. Could be wrong. But it hasn't acted up since. So 12 hours and I'm making 40 bucks profit. Yay. Break fix. Ooh. Anyway. So today we took apart and put together a basic office computer. About $160 is what it would cost you to build something like this. LG 1155 boards are hard to find. We went with the Dell board. It fit our needs. You know, that board's going to be 60 or 30 bucks. Second gen i3 is about 30 bucks. 8 gigs of RAM is about 30 bucks. That's 90 bucks. Power supply was 30 bucks. That's 120. SSD in case were another $40, so that was 160. So if you want a decent office PC, that's about what you'll spend, probably between $150 and $200. So here's the downside of it. Let's say you don't have extra RAM sticks. Let's just say you just have one. Let's just say you need to update the BIOS because you bought a 3rd gen CPU and a 2nd gen board. I have a bunch of them. So just keep that in mind. When you're building something like this, try to plan for as much, you know, potential issues, because you don't want to be spending weeks tracking down additional parts to double check other things. So shout out to, oh god, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, the guy on Reddit. I'll maybe mention the link in the description below. Thank you for sending me the board. Much appreciated. If you liked the video, liked it, dislike it, subscribe. Share my stuff on Facebook. Visit my website, which I need to revamp, so don't get on me too hard about that. Leave a comment. We'll talk a little more. Have a hopefully you guys had a good Christmas, although it's the 24th right now, but when you guys get to view it, it's going to be like 28th. As always, this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions, and I'll see you later on down the road.